Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to all our listeners, wherever you are this evening. You are listening to the Third Umpire Show. Those of you in New York, Toronto, those of you, our friends in Miami who listens to us regularly and sometimes call, you who are in Texas, and those of you who are on your way home, I apologize for a very late start, and as a matter of fact, we'll be going for a break shortly. But good evening nonetheless. We are having the show, and as usual, we are going to umpire this game fearlessly. With me on the program is Mr. Vivian Johnson. Mr. Vivian Johnson is also an activist and a very vocal supporter of what he sees as right. Vivian Johnson was also, I'm seeing he has on a jersey, Justice for Joshua, and we will come to that shortly. Yeah. But Vivian was also an independent candidate in the last election, and the election before that, I think.
The local government
election. So good evening, Vivian. You are on the Third Umpire Show. Let's hear what's your thoughts for today.
Good afternoon, all those who are viewing and listening. Thank you, Stephen, for having me here this afternoon. Mm-hmm. Every day is a new day, and every day, when you think that your day will start calm, the first thing to wake up this morning to hear that Joshua Samuel's dad was arrested last night was sent a shock through everyone, because, we heard that he was going to the station to clarify what was said on Father's Day, and then with his lawyer, and then the next thing we are hearing is that Joshua's dad was arrested. So now we have Alyssa arrested, we have Alyssa's mom arrested, we have Joshua's dad arrested, Kaya basically arrested on bail, and Joshua has died. So the next thing I suppose is maybe the animals at home may be arrested,
So,
I don't know.
So let me just say a couple things. This is the Third Umpire Show. Mm-hmm. We are umpires.
Okay.
You are an umpire today.
Right?
And on this show, we usually look at the bowling side and the batting side.
Right.
And because of it's metaphoric, the cricket, the batting side is the government in office.
Right.
And that is the Kamala Prasad Bisesa administration. And the bowling side will be the PNM.
And other parties.
Right? And other parties, right? And we say the PNM because the PNM is the only other party in Parliament.
Okay.
So that's the bowling side. We look at how they bat and how they bowl, and we comment on it. Mm-hmm. We analyze what is in the news, not just local but international.
Okay.
And we give our position on it. Mm-hmm. Right? Our position is not necessarily the position. It's
right.
our opinion, but we try to analyze the thing, looking at it from a 360 position, just like you look at it, the third umpire on camera and that kind of thing.
Right.
And that's how we analyze the show. That's how we analyze what's going on out there. Mm-hmm. Now, every day on the show, almost every time we have the show, we would usually look at the thing that features most heavily is crime and policing and that kind of thing, because to a large extent that is what has been dominating the news for the last 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. And we think that there are a number of different factors that one can look at, a number of things that could be done in trying to be able to probably bring back trying to be able to where we were probably about 25 years ago. Right? Well, 25 years ago it had just started.
Right.
It was in its infancy stage.
Mm-hmm.
So every day we would look at what is happening, what citizens can do to contribute to that change, what the government can do to contribute to that change, what the opposition can do to contribute to that change, and what generally families and home, and yesterday we look at parenting and that kind of schools, the education system, everything has a role to in dealing with solving this problem of escalating crime and criminal activity in Trinidad and Tobago. We are in a state of emergency, of course, and that means to some people it may seem to be nothing, because in a state of emergency where you don't have a curfew, you still have the freedom to move and that kind of thing. But in a state of emergency, to a large extent, your rights are subjugated to some extent, and therefore the police have a different kind of authority to be able to do certain things. But what we are seeing here is something that we should, as citizens, even though we are in a state of emergency, we must be allowed to comment on it. Now, we're just about 10 seconds away from the break because we started late.
Right.
So certainly we'll go for the break, and when we come back, we will continue this discussion.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of the hour, we will continue.
The Street 919 FM.
When every hand start waving, it's KFC a craving. Extra crispy or spicy, it blazing. But don't get left back, you better run down the line and grab a KFC before it's full time. When the game start kick off, fingers get lick off. Dipping popcorn chicken in 3 kinds of sauce. But careful with your tackle, keep your hand out the box or hand your red card and point to the spot. Now you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. Get your hand in the action before a ball kick. Yes, you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. Somebody bring the KFC quick, I'm telling you. Get your hands on KFC's extra crispy or spicy popcorn chicken, starting at just $35. Or grab the winning combination: 3 pieces of chicken and 4 tenders for $79.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations: Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast, heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
When the first whistle blows, your instincts kick in. You grab the bucket, dip, tear, share, and crunch down for every finger-licking good play. KFC popcorn chicken is back in the game, so get your hands in the action with extra crispy or spicy popcorn chicken, starting at just $35. Try it with our winning sauces and get your hands messy with the drip. Or get the winning combination: 3 pieces of chicken and 4 tenders for $79.95. To satisfy every craving during game time, it must be KFC.
Peace of God be multiplied unto you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Redemption Hour, a gospel program where God will reveal His mind to you on how to live a fulfilled life and to please Him in all areas. Join Pastor Femi Afolabi, the National Overseer of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Trinidad and Tobago, and other seasoned ministers for a time of divine encounter as they minister and pray for you every Saturday by 9 o'clock in the morning of this station, Street FM 91.9. Our church is Deeper Life Bible Church, #1 Cochrane Street, opposite Tunapuna Police Station, Tunapuna. The times of our services are as follows: Sunday worship service, 9 a.m., Monday Bible study, 6 p.m., Thursday revival hour, 6 p.m. The redemption hour is a life-changing moment you cannot afford to miss. For special prayer or counseling, contact Pastor Femi Afolabi on 778-9933. God bless you as you listen to this program. Jesus is Lord.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We have a full hour now to talk to you, to give you our thesis for today. And you feel free to call us. The number, of course, is 342-0081 and 466-5391. This is the Third Umpire Show. And I have with me this evening a visiting umpire, Mr. Vivian Johnson. And we were just having a discussion on what we think is fairness and justice in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was saying just before the break, we are in a state of emergency, and a state of emergency means something. You don't want to be saying things that may come across as seditious, having to answer questions, giving the police the authority to arrest you for things that maybe you would have otherwise said otherwise and not get arrested for. And we know the nature, we know what's happening right now. A lot of people just don't feel that what's going on is right. A lot of people just don't feel that where the focus is for the police is where it should be. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who say that the police and by themselves are criminals, and we've seen a lot of evidence of that.
Right.
A lot of people are saying that some of the things you see happen with police officers is left a lot more to be desired.
Correct, yes.
The reason is you really want to see that the police demonstrate or do the work in ways that brings about a certain amount of confidence to the public, and that seems not to be happening in a lot of areas. But the police are doing some good things, in some cases. They have not necessarily solved some problems, but they have saved some lives also.
Of course, yeah.
And we have to also understand, while we are people, we have emotions. So a man's son would have gotten killed. He would have known his son. He would have known his son.
He would have loved his son.
He would have known his son's girlfriend.
Yeah.
And obviously, when any Trinidadian who would have seen that video, and I haven't heard anybody come out and say that video was not authenticated and that video was cut and paste, or that video was doctored, or that was raw cut that the people of Trinidad and Tobago saw. So months after, you now referring charge against a lady, and obviously you say you have witnesses now, and those witnesses might necessarily be police officers or forensics or whoever. We know how it goes. Mm-hmm. And they would say that based on shots fired and that kind of thing, although there was something provided by British professionals who would have shown a different side of what is seen. But the thing is, for most law-abiding citizens, they would say, well, let this thing play out in court. Let the court, let the law, let this play out, and let the law go its course.
Yeah, the sad thing with Trinidad, Stephen, is that it takes 10, 12, 15 years for this to play out in court.
And that is the sad thing. While somebody who might be innocent, I'm not saying innocent.
Who's presumed innocent.
Who is presumed innocent, and who, from what we see, might be innocent. Because, listen, let me tell you something. With all the things they're talking about seditious and all the things they're talking about what they should do and thing. Listen, it's still legal to think.
Yeah.
Right? Think is not illegal to think. Mm-hmm. And if people could think, there are certain logical question one has to ask.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? And I mean, it's like cognitive dissonance. It goes against all you know about what is right and what is wrong and what is logical and what is illogical. Yeah. So you know, I don't want to hear, because I know I saw you on a lot of newspaper articles, and a lot of clippings, a lot of videos and that kind of thing in the protest action out there and thing. And I really wanted to hear from somebody like you what you have to say in relation to what this particular issue, this Samaru issue, because we've said a lot on this program already, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, the first time I heard about it and I saw the video, I said, no way, this has to be madness, you know, because over the years we have heard how the police have been brutalizing citizens in different areas, you know, and when this came out, I mean, this is, like I have a thing on Facebook, you know, don't doubt your eyes. We all saw that video, do not doubt your eyes. And, you know, one is a young mother. Two is a young father who has family, they have no criminal records at all, as far as we have heard. Nobody has said
They're not known to the police.
They're not known to the police, you know. And when we saw that vehicle crash and that young man, Joshua, put his hands out, pleading for mercy, and we saw these 3 police officers shoot up.
Stop. Let me see if he could litigate this thing before it goes. But why was he running from the police in the first place?
No one knows why. No one, as far as I know, on my side, no one knows why. You have to ask the police that question. But even why he was running, at that point in time when he stopped and he surrendered, is there justification to kill him?
Correct.
You know,
that goes against all
any legal man will tell you no.
International law, everything. I mean, a man surrender. It's like a man, you fight in war, Russia and Ukraine, a man pop a white flag.
Yeah. You have to stop.
You have to stop and you have to preserve his life.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out.
So no matter what to me, it doesn't matter what went on before. Because at the end of the day, these are officers who are paid by the state
and
to protect the citizens, you know. And if Joshua and Kaya did something wrong, they should have been brought in to deal with the legal system. You know, as poor as our legal system is, that is what we would have had. But Joshua is unable to do that. You know, people say that
he's unalive now.
He's unalive right now. You know, people will say that Kaya was shooting behind the police when the car crashed. I think about it. Somebody speeding, a young lady is speeding in a seatbelt, turning a corner. The car crashes. That seatbelt locks you in and you're in a drain. And if Kaya was able to really shoot behind those police, she would be definitely an perfect addition for our defense force. You know, because it is unthinkable.
She'd be an octopus.
Yeah, it would be it's unthinkable that she could have fired shot after that car crash, and then you have 20-something bullets coming at you from big assault weapons. You know, so the police story does not make sense. And what we are fighting for is, and the next thing is that the DPP gets what he gets from the police. You know, and we are saying that something is wrong. Why? Because again, if you watch San Fernando, when WPC Eversley was killed, you know, a police officer killed in a station, presumably by another police officer and others. Thousands of rounds of ammunition missing, maybe over 60, 80, 100 guns still missing, and we're not hearing about it. You know, we had an ex-policeman who, I mean, there's so many stories about the police in Trinidad and Tobago. As much as we need them, you know, we fear them.
So what are you thinking? I mean, this is the Third Empire.
Yeah.
What are you thinking that the government could do or should do to deal with the police service? That if the citizenry feels that to a large extent that they've lost confidence in the police, and clearly in other places you will have a different kind of outcome. In Africa and these places they have a different kind of outcome.
Yeah.
When you lose confidence in the system, you lose confidence in government and that kind of thing. That isn't happening in Trinidad.
Not in Trinidad.
In no way I'm advocating that.
The perfect thing to do is to change the person in charge, because directors will come from the top down to the bottom. And
the person in charge,
commissioner of police.
Well, the commissioner of police was just recently.
A year now, and it's a year. Listen, we have England. England has changed their prime minister so in the last 2-3 years. No, not in the last 2 or 3 years.
7 times. 7 in the last 10 years. 7 times.
Yeah, you know, and
for good reason. I mean,
and for good reason, because once you know that you cannot do a job, once you know that your people, your citizens are seeing that you are not the person for the right fit for that job, you get rid of that person. You know, yesterday I was reading
So you're saying that the commissioner of police, the government should remove the commissioner of police?
No, he should do the right thing and resign.
Well, okay. I mean, let me fair to everybody.
Yeah.
Heinz was in office for the last 10 years or 9 years before, prior.
Heinz should have gone too. Again, we voted out the PNM because we wanted a change. Did we get a change? Yes. I think for the worse.
Why is it that? I mean, the crime on the murders and that kind of thing on the
we like to say that murder is on reduction. I want you to go to the last family that was murdered and tell them that.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is it could have been about 100 more people dying.
Yes, I agree with you. But again, we're not supposed to have any deaths. New York have 8, 9, 10 million people. New York have 100 and something murders for the year. So you boasting about 300 murders or whatever the case is. Right now we're close to 200 murders for the year, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it.
And we're in a state of emergency, and we have lost our rights as citizens. And when we talk about it, they're arresting us.
Let me take this caller. Yeah. Caller in a while. Caller, good evening. You're listening to the Third Empire Show.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Good afternoon.
All your spot on. I don't even know where to begin. Nonetheless, the police has already made a serious blunder in this matter, right? One of the things that they will not be able to get past in the courtroom is answering how procedure, how the actual procedure is supposed to be as it relates to events of what took place with Joshua and Kaya, right? The police, that is, have said that they had knowledge of Kaya being in possession of a firearm in Maloney, right? Or they end up on a high-speed chase, or they claim there was a shootout, and the police also claim that they found a firearm present at the scene. So, if we have to go based on what is precedent in terms of procedure, the police had grounds right away to charge Ms. Kaya Seeley with possession of a firearm.
Correct.
We had to wait for 4 months later, and for a young lady threatening to go in front of the forensic to protest. And all of a sudden, boom, the file was sent, and boom, Ms. Kaya was the person in charge. So is the police service telling us, right, that they will find a firearm at a scene after a shootout and allow the individual to leave the country? And to make matters worse, for who have eyes to see, right, we allow her to leave. She came back willingly on her own volition, and we tried to appear as what? When we rushed to arrest her at 2 o'clock in the morning, when there was an agreement that she would come in at 9.
Correct.
But more than the problem with the shortcomings of our police service and every other institution that exists, we have to understand why we continue to be where we are as a nation and the part that we play in encouraging that to continue. You see, there is a number of persons who are not in support of the actions of Alyssa Phillip, who are in total support of the actions of the police on that day, how they responded to that crash vehicle. But you know what the funny thing is? That will magically change if you have a change in administration. And that is what we have to deal with as our shortcomings as a society. Unless we can treat with that, we will continue to get just what we gain from the police, just what we gain from the politicians, and there will be no change as it relates to how we get justice in this country for persons who are charged with the responsibility to help the arms of justice function. But as I say, the police already opened them out and removed all doubt. It's just a matter of time before the state has to pay a set of money based on all the information and evidence that has already been out there about this case.
But you preempting what the court will do. I mean, the thing is, I mean, what do you say to all the people? And they seem to be in the majority. What do you say to all the people who say, well, let this thing play out in court? Let the law take its course.
What I say to those people who are saying that is, I hope that they don't ever have anything to protest about in the country. So whether it is the police officer who was making the video about the fact that he was being deprived his visitation rights by another officer and his wife, when he's supposed to pick up the child on Saturday, he shouldn't complain or protest about that. Let nature or let the court, let the law take its course.
Well said.
When the UN or the PNM coming out to protest for whatever and coming out with their supporters, they're not supposed to come out and protest or say anything. They have to let the law take its course. But right now, the signal that the police is sending, the message that they are sending is that you are free to protest as long as
you do protest.
It is some political prayer or you is a part of a political party, but you cannot protest against the police service. That is the message that they're sending, you know. Once you are protesting against the TTPS, you will be on our radar and we will dig to the bottom of the barrel to get something to charge you with. And we saw it with Christmas List. There is a whole heap of inconsistencies and they don't have no problem continuing operating from that place of inconsistency. And we give them fuel to continue when we are unable to do proper analysis and reasoning and have the same view regardless of who is doing it and when it is being done. Because I listening to plenty people who's talking about Alyssa making a fool of herself, and so what if that is your opinion? Making a fool of yourself is not a crime, and that is her right, so she ought to be able to enjoy that right freely without any interference. I don't know.
To those who say she's making a fool of herself, they need to go back and study history. Go and study Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all the people who fight for where we are today. Mm-hmm. Study them and you'll see who making a fool of themselves. The thing is, and
they themselves are able to enjoy certain benefits because people chose to make a fool of themselves.
Correct.
It's something really wrong with us, Mr. Matterson. Something seriously wrong with us.
One of the things that took me in a place over the last few days, and it is really indicative of our society. Mm-hmm. I saw something on not YouTube, on TikTok. Mm-hmm. But a lady said who said she got PNM education. She was asked a simple question.
Yeah.
And that question was, if three people running a race, three of you running a race, you pass the person in second place, where are you? And she said she in first place. And she stood up on that. Not only she stood up on that, but she also went out on a limb to say that she, at her age, she received that PNM education. It was free education. Mm-hmm. But first, I want to say education was never free in this country. Yeah. That's the first thing. And anybody who wants to doubt me and have that debate with me, I do have a problem having that debate with them, right? And the second thing is that education they say you receive, I think you need to think about it again. Because one of the things, clearly, it didn't teach you to think.
Yeah.
And that's the problem
because
with our education system.
How they on the promenade tried to explain to this woman that she was wrong. She went on die hard that she was correct.
No, but what I'm saying is all of that is indicative how even what we're trying to analyze here, people just not able to think it through. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Critical thinking is a sin in Trinidad, you know.
Yeah.
People have a problem with thinking.
Correct.
That is correct. That is so correct. And you know what is the fact, Mr. Matterson? It have plenty people who are just like that woman. They and more than the fact that they don't know is that they don't know that they don't know.
They don't know that they don't know.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
It's difficult to
They can't even
get
sit
into
down and
this.
just think it through.
Yeah.
They can't even sit down and just rationalize it.
Yeah.
And that's
Just remember,
sad.
And Mr. Matterson, bear in mind that this that we saw from the lady exists all over the country.
All over the country.
It is
All
not
over the
limited
country.
to one category or one place. You can find police officers who get in on so. You can find politicians who get in on so. And you name it. In every field that exists, you will have those kind of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, everybody had a perish one day, but I hope that some of the ideologies that are not good for us perish with some of us. Because boy, if it continues, then really and truly we have nowhere to go, you know.
Correct.
Because all these things that people talking about and fighting down Alyssa from exercising her constitutional right, you know when that will change? If the victims were their children.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a politician child, the politician would have already called probably for foreign investigators and all kind of different things that they have at their disposal. They would have already probably.
You see, that's the problem. That's the next thing with Trinidadian. We haven't found a way. We don't understand how to empathize, how to put yourself in a person's position and see and feel what they feel and see what they see, because they just seen it from one side. They just have one view of
You
the whole
know,
thing.
Stephen, let me cut you. You know, about a month ago, a guy was killed on Charlieville, down in Chabonas, currently Savannah Road. He was cutting cable, right? So there was a new building built up, and normally the lines running from the outside. He was cutting cable. Police came, and he jumped in the neighbor yard, and the police killed him. You don't hear about that. Why you're not hearing about that? Is because people are supporting party. So even if their own are killed, they're not saying anything because they're supporting party. Because that was murder. Because you can't shoot a man who jumped on a wall with a grinder and kill him and then say he had a gun. Again, it's showing that people supporting party and not right and wrong.
And that is unfortunate.
I want to come up, gentlemen, but as you said that, I want to raise a question this afternoon, right? Based on the fact that many times when the police actions are called into question, right, they say that we haven't seen
all the evidence.
What happened before the video and things like that, right? I am asking, when they post things on Beyond the Tape, can the criminals or the people who are alleged to be involved in criminal activity have that same claim that you didn't see what happened minutes before or moments before, and all you caught on the tape was just the action of, or my reaction of me running out and committing murder in broad daylight? The police are setting some bad precedents in this country, right? And they are encouraged to continue by our actions many times, because we cannot unite on principle. We will always be divided along these political lines. So if something is happening that affects the country and I talk about it and the PNM is in power, I am automatically call a UNC. And if something happening while the UNC in power and I talk about it, I am automatically a PNM. Regardless if it has nothing to do with the politicians there, because this is a police matter where the police actions is called into question. But it's only convenient that the politicians know that it have PNM police or UNC police as they conveniently label them. Anyhow, gentlemen, let me clear up the lines and give other people a chance.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. And, you know, at the end of the day, Vivian, to me, you know, we get what citizens get what they deserve, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of selfish people in Trinidad.
Yeah,
too much, too many selfish people who just comfortable and are not understanding that by you just thinking. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great contribution there by the previous caller, Chris. You know, as you were saying early on, if it is the claim the woman had a gun, right? What isn't it? What if feel the whole nation so stupid? What investigation you did for gunpowder, testing for gunpowder and whatever, and then you say a bullet came from inside the car, through a backlash, right? Aside the rear window, the left rear window. So then police were shooting from the other side too as well. So it could have been one of the police bullets that left that impression. You understand? And then it took so long, the woman wasn't under no arrest or anything like that. She was able to leave the country. I wish a good lawyer could really take up this case.
A bad lawyer could take up the case and win it too.
Yeah, she have a good lawyer. She has a very good lawyer.
Right. So, because, I mean, is it that, or you feel, okay, look at the gentleman who was in his gallery in just a short pants alone. You took the man inside his house, right? 4 officers or 5 officers took the man inside the house and shot the man and said the man tried to snatch a gun to shoot at them and they defended themselves.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's so blatant.
Yeah.
But people are thinking.
You don't think we're so stupid all the time? You understand? I mean, the level, it's amazing to see the level of disconnection from the ground to some of these people and them, and especially with our politicians and so on. Because this mental post, who, as you said earlier, who didn't resign, supposed to be fired. You understand? And yet you're talking of this man, and look, Gary was showing us this man not even wasn't properly, didn't pass the proper channel, say he'd be a commissioner. Right? So he's not even supposed to be in that position. And while you're investigating the boy father, or the searching the man home, you understand? But I mean, while the man on the radio talking, or they're going and search the man's house.
And caller, may I cut you in? You know, the sad thing is that when the father went to the station to clear things up, you know, is when they arrested him after that, you know? So it's really a sad case, you know, victimization right through.
We come worse than Gary and the Mongoose gang.
Well, the thing is, we are in a state of emergency, and if sedition is a crime, especially in situations like these, and what they are saying is that what the gentleman might have said on the radio could be classified as seditious.
Was the intent there, Madison? You have to start that the intent is important.
Again, all those things are things for it's not really for the police to decide that. It is really for the courts to decide that. But the thing is, we know justice delayed
is justice denied.
Is justice denied, and it's sad that caller.
It's very frightening. The position we're in right now in this country, it's a very frightening thing, You understand? They could come and search anybody home now. You just call a radio station and make some comment, and next thing you get search, and next thing they walk into the thing and they set you up, which they normally do. You understand? Because after whole year, look like the young lady resisted arrest, obscene language, and whatever, you know?
Yeah, and the sad thing is that, I mean, it's just inconceivable how easy it is.
The people have to unite. That's the most important. The people have to unite.
But you see in Trinidad and Tobago, we we think, as Vivian was just saying, in Trinidad and Tobago, we think red and yellow all the time.
You have to get away from that.
You would have heard what the MP for Lavantel West had to say a couple days ago, right? And that is just indicative of the politics. That is a reflection of how they see Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
That way they say do support no doubles and this and that and all this kind of thing. That comes from leaders. You understand?
Yeah. Nonsense. Nonsense.
Shame to see this road going on. That's what they do. They divide the nation to stay in power. You understand? Because if the people come together, none of these stupidness could take place.
So now people like myself, we are faced with a serious moral imperative. Because at the end of the day, it's responsible to vote.
Correct.
Right? It is responsible to vote. But if you are seeing what is happening repeatedly with the revolving door, you are now faced with a moral imperative. What do you do?
You know, yesterday papers spoke about the commissioner of police say he does not vote. He said he has never voted, and then he changed it to Ogato. Since he's a police, he was, advised, that he should stay neutral. And the commissioner of police, who is supposed to be neutral, in yesterday's paper said, right, if government was to change, I would have to serve the government in power. And then later down he said, you must understand that the government of the day has the policy-making authority. So if the government of the day's policy is one that is looking to reduce homicides, reduce home invasion, reduce extortion, then the police service alignment should be placed in accordance with the government policy direction.
Well,
now, as far as I know...
I don't want you to take the man out of
No.
context.
As far as I know, the police service is supposed to follow the Constitution and serve the people of Trinidad. And if he could come out and say this, I don't know what context you take it in, Stephen, but I take it in that he is following the policy. And the record shows from what we are seeing that he is following the policy of the present-day government.
Well, if the policy of the present-day government is right, is the
kill people?
Is the best thing for Trinidad and Tobago.
To murder
Yes, no,
people?
it's the best thing for Trinidad and Tobago. Then, by all means, you should want to follow that.
Of course, but we're not seeing that.
But look at it. When we were in the savannah and people start to say Rowley must go, they start to snatch people and throw them in the bus. You understand? Good. So that's when the issue was on the other foot.
Correct, yes.
You understand? So it's a frightening situation, I know, and the solution to this is that the people have to try to unite. Somebody, whoever it is, and we need new leaders, of course. You understand? We need new people, and the people have to learn to forget this red and yellow and think red, white, and black, and stand up for the true thing, and teach your children honesty. So what if these officers or whoever it is, their children going to school and children in that same school will say, but your fathers, so people following what's going on or no? The message is on the ground or no? And if they ask a question, I wonder how that child will respond if they go home to their parents and mention something like that. You understand?
Okay.
Because it's a shame to see, and it comes just like the situation. You're saying we're getting protection now. You told us we were getting protection months ago, and as for the Rugon, everything opened back up. Now you're talking about getting more, you're getting protection again, right? What is really going on? You understand? What is really going on? I mean, it's a shame to see these. And when a leader lies to the people, it's a bad thing, I know. It's a very bad thing. You understand? And more than once, from the radar, you say you requested the radar. This time it was turned away from Grenada, and they decided to bring it here.
Tobago.
You said you requested it. You lied and said that. You never requested that. right? Then they murder the people in the boat. You say, yes, murder them, right? And, well, we know the case going on now with the people family trying to take them, trying to go through that process. But you see these lying and these types of things, it's a frightening thing for a country and for the people of the country, because we really need that kind of a proper unity and straight people. You understand? So all they might have a role to play there.
Okay.
We have to see how things should change, boy. It has to change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right? Yeah. Now, here was I like to think through things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have been on about 3 state of emergencies since this administration came into office. As a matter of fact, this administration hasn't ruled for more than a month without a state of emergency since they came into office. Well, no, I lie. They have, right?
Maybe a little more. Yeah.
But the thing is, a state of emergency is not necessarily a crime fighting tool.
Correct.
Right? It's just a measure you could use to bring a certain degree of law and order in place, but you have to have a plan. Right? And my challenge is that I'm not hearing any plan. What's the plan?
Tell me something, Stephen. Normally, in a state of emergency, we also seen that the police want extra officers, 2,000 something extra officers. Why are they not using the Trinity Regiment and the army men at the moment?
I don't know.
You don't see police. Why is it that they want? Is that they want to make a police state?
I don't know.
Because the normal thing would have been you see police and army working hand in hand, especially during a state of emergency. So even that alone might help, because if we are saying that the TTPS is rogue, just maybe mixing them with the army might stop some of the...
Really?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, you're saying that without thinking. It's Trinidadians you're talking about.
Yeah,
Trinidadians are inherently corrupt. Right? And it is not because they want to be corrupt.
So you're saying that the TTPS don't want to share the spoils?
While I am saying it is inherently corrupt, I mean, it might be an oxymoron to say that and then say that they don't want to be... But the system creates corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Because we have bad systems, we have bad... we have low productivity, we have bad actors. You will always have corruption in a system like this. Right? But the thing is, because sometimes you just have to be corrupt to live.
No, the system right?
is... You go licensing office, the amount of thing they put you through, you want to go through that, but you just pay for it. Right? And it's the same thing with almost everything. Right? So I don't know if sometimes when you look... A simple thing like body cams. If everybody in Trinidad and Tobago talking about the police and the confidence and thing, why don't you... If a policeman shoots somebody, charge him for murder if he wasn't wearing a body cam.
Correct.
That's simple. What's so hard?
Process.
You can't think through that? And what's so hard to procure? You in office for a year. What is so difficult to procure something that will bring about a level of confidence in the people of Trinidad and Tobago by making every single officer, once you're outside on the beat and you do something, interacting with the public, wear a body cam.
Correct.
Instead, you're trying to take away people's camera when they're filming you in your duties. That making any sense?
Systems are in a mess.
It makes no sense. It tells me that you have something to hide. Anytime you start subjecting what might be seen as fear intrusion, then you clearly have something to hide. That's just my position. Right?
You know, when the guns went missing from San Fernando, I told my family, I told my friends, they don't have a clue.
Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. Caller, good evening.
Hi, good afternoon to the Children Fire and to your guest there. Yes, Mr. Johnson, this is one of your fellow brethren speaking to you, a fellow mechanic you know I'm speaking of. So So greetings, fraternal greetings to you.
Well,
as well.
yeah, Stephen as well.
Oh, Stephen, all right. Yes,
Matteson.
oh, because he used a phrase once, and I couldn't remember who it was.
Right, yeah.
Stephen,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so fellow greetings. All I will say from Arima, that we'll leave it as that.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I want to ask you one question. Well, I want to say, you as a politician, right? How do you? I listen to the program because I'm a regular listener, and don't always get in. But how do you change the system? Because if it is the people don't want to change, and they like how do we change it? Because there are the signs all over that it will need to change. Life is like that. The world has changed from how much billions of years till now. System, but why? What is holding us back?
To change the system of the police service, or which system you want to change?
Not to change the system across the board. You as a politician, what is your do you think you have something presently that you could say yes, this I believe could change it? Because to me, to get it done, we have to change the people first.
You have, yeah.
That is just my opinion.
Correct, yeah.
So in order for the system to change, the people have to change because we are the ones who enact the systems.
Now, to me,
to
me, change. Yes, the people will want that, who want that change will accept it, but the change have to come from higher up. And I like to watch the example of New York. When years ago New York was a total, Brooklyn was a mess.
Yeah,
right? Murders, drugs, and I mean, right or wrong, when Giuliani came in, the whole crime went down, they stopped drinking alcohol on the road, and the police was there doing what they're supposed to do. It might have been oppressive, but if we are seeing positives, more positives than negatives, people will accept it.
Isn't that what the Prime Minister is trying to do right now?
No, but you can't. No, the Prime Minister might be trying to, but the Prime Minister. I don't want to go against. I'd like to discuss parties because I am for country, and while I don't know if the Prime Minister wanted.
No,
because
she's advocated a number of things. Raising the legal limit to alcohol. She's advocated. She's advocated a number of things.
She's talking about it. Yes,
she's doing a lot of things that will bring
the
about that
main thing right now to me is police and the brutality, not just the murders, because yes, murders might go. Madison, you said murders going down, but the police murders going up. Earlier, you said that the murders were going down. But if you check the statistics, up to September last year, was 60 police murders last year. So we need to deal with the first thing, which was done in New York, deal with the security of the country and the security of the people. And the government and the police service, the leader, commissioner of police, have to do it. We have to do it the right way. You can't do it the wrong way. Because if you allow...
You have my support, but I will stop. You have my support, brother.
Yeah.
But we have to do something. We have to do something. So you have my support. I have your number.
Thanks.
Otherwise, we haven't spoken. But we'll chat.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Listen up here. Welcome.
Yeah. But that, we have to do something. And that something is we have to start to advocate for the right things.
For the right things.
A lot of people feel that, as I was saying this before, the caller, a lot of people are thinking that, listen, it's better I stay quiet, not say anything, I'm happy, I cool, I comfortable, I have my job, I have money in my pocket, I pay my bills, I'm struggling, but I ain't going out pushing my head out there to say anything or to try to make any kind of change. So you're dependent on somebody else, like the lady who got arrested a couple of times. You're dependent on somebody like that.
To fight for your cause.
Yeah. And the challenge with that is, I don't know if you remember the story, it was read in a D-Day celebration in, I think it was 1957, in Washington, where they read the poem of a priest who was in a concentration camp in Germany. And he said first they came for the socialists. But I said nothing because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists. I said nothing because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews. I said nothing because I was not a Jew.
Yeah.
He was a priest.
Yeah.
And then when they came for me, there was no one else
To fight for
left
Yeah.
to stand for me.
Yeah.
And that is what happens when good people do nothing.
Correct. Yeah.
That is what happens when good people do nothing or say nothing. So at some point in time, if enough of us say something, then maybe the right people, for fear that they may be relegated, would stand up and start thinking and say, look, something is wrong, because something is definitely wrong with the police service.
And you know, Stephen, let me cut you there. Every single march we went to, 19 marches. I didn't go to all, but from the first day at the Red House, Alyssa did what she was supposed to have done. Over 48 hours before, sent a letter to the commissioner. We are marching on so-and-so date, so-and-so time. Every single march, the police came out and said we had no permission. Right? So from day one, they started to intimidate us, because when you come out to march and police is there and police is showing, hey, something, this is wrong. People, next protest would have had less people, and that is what they kept doing. Now, when we went to the DPP office, the COP administration was a nice march. Again, they came and told us no. They had a riot squad, everybody are wrong, but, we ended up marching. But when we went to the DPP office, they came out again from day one and said there is no protest here today. All right? And that is when they locked up Alyssa that day. And when we went to forensics, I was there. The first person was there was me. And the amount of police that came, by them and myself, 3 jeep load of police driving and a police car driving. And then when they left, more came. And then they pushed us down to Long Circular Road. So even though people want to come out and protest, what the police did was intimidate and put fear in the people.
How many times Martin Luther King got arrested?
I don't know, but I want to say that Alyssa, keep strong, because I know that this young lady went through a lot. Keep strong. The people are behind you. I don't know what to tell you again, young lady. You have been through the grinder, and keep strong, because we are behind you. Because at the end of the day, we want to see the TTPS do right by every citizen. We understand.
You think that will happen in your generation, right?
Giuliani did it in less than 10 years.
You think that will happen in your generation?
I am hoping.
With what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago?
You don't know what God having planned.
What you
Madison,
think? What you think have to be done for the police service to? What do you think needs to be done in Trinidad and Tobago, the police with crime and the crime fighting apparatus?
Well, the first thing, you said it earlier, wear cameras. Because if you wear a camera,
what about how you recruit police? What about the whole philosophy of policing? How you recruit police? How you train them?
Well, all of that, because
I'm
a good friend.
A lot of people who get into policing maybe should not have been even been into policing. They went in there for a job, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the story where the person who went for the job in KFC and they said it was in police, and they went and they say, well, they went to the police service and they asked them, why you come here? And they tell them, well, we went KFC, and they tell us we had our 3 levels. Right?
So they got into the police service.
They went to the police service. Yeah. The thing is, people looking for jobs, people looking for work.
Jobs.
Right?
Looking for jobs.
And people who should be somewhere else doing something else ending up in the police service. Right?
Yeah.
And they come from all kind of broken mental situation, and it's very easy to mash them up.
But the cameras will help, because if you have a camera and you know that people seeing, the first couple of some stupid ones who will get catch. But once you have body cameras, it's least likely that you will do wrong. Right?
No, they might do wrong and they might try to doctor the tape.
They might, but there are ways to check that, But that is a start. That is a start where the citizens can see what is going on. The police administration can see what is going on. But that is a start. And then recruiting is the next thing too.
Recruiting. How you recruit people,
Right.
what you recruiting them for, how you train people. In Trinidad and Tobago, nobody there no school training people who want to, as a career, who chooses as a career to be a police officer.
Correct, yeah.
Right? That's an afterthought. That's something after when you feel you're coming entrance and whatever, and you have nothing else to do, you have nowhere else to get in, you go and try to get a job in the police service. That is how it used to be. But the thing
Training is bad.
The training, we can't say the training is bad, we don't know what it is, but we see the outcome. Right? And
there was a guy last week who was arrested for, the case finished last week, who was arrested for raping his daughter or stepdaughter, molesting or whatever the case was. And the girl explained that she was in, wherever, we're going to use the example, this studio, this red couch, across the road, in this bedroom. And when it came to court, the police never visited where the girl said she was raped. So the magistrate say, nothing the police did.
So how this case
was thrown out. So when you study Alyssa, Kaya, and Joshua, and you have to go through 10, 12 years of waiting for justice, and then the case is thrown out because the police did not do.
Who paying you for all that time?
Who paying you for? People say wait on the courts, but lawyer fees, is everything that is bothering you for the next 10, 12 years. This over your head, and you're innocent.
But I think what the system plays on is the fact that we forget things. We are 12-day wonder country, so very soon. Well, this taking long to blow over.
No. We're not allowing it to settle at all.
But very soon, the majority of Trinidadians will forget about this.
Correct. Yeah.
It will be like the guys who got shot in Mova, the guys who got shot somewhere along Faisabad, somewhere. People don't remember them things.
Yesterday Alyssa put out something now. Alyssa Phillip put out something that, the 19 protest is finished. And for the last 4 or 5 months, I have been online pushing justice for Joshua, justice for Kaya. And then yesterday when she said that, I started to say, I'll have a little more time for my family, because I spend hours on the phone following this. And then to wake up this morning to hear the father was arrested. So, it's like when it might have been dying out.
No, don't get me wrong. The police had to do the job. The police
had to do the job. I agree with you.
If they see something that looks like sedition, maybe when you say kill police, right?
If I had a gun.
Okay, they probably didn't hear but they didn't hear that. But when you say kill police, that's a serious thing. If the police is the national crime fighting apparatus, and you say kill police, you're talking about a riot, you're talking about all kind of sedition, you're talking about all kind of problems.
Correct. But you have to take in context that the man grieving. You just killed his son, and the whole country is saying that the son is innocent. Well, not innocent, but the son was surrendering, and he should not have been killed.
Right.
This man is grieving. You call a man whose son was killed by the police. The whole country for the last 5 months fighting for this cause, and you call him on Father's Day to ask him questions. And then when he says something, but the man took it upon himself to go to the station because he was hearing things, and he went to the station to clear it up. So it's not sedition. We know that. It's not. The man was sad. The man grieving. The man is grieving. Yes, he's a big person. He was wrong, maybe, to say what he said. But again, you have to take the context of why he said what he said.
The good thing is the court is one place where sometimes, even though you have a certain degree of equity in rulings, so even though you might bring law and you might bring things that seems to be not logical, but seems to be what the law allows, judges are able to see through certain things and make certain decisions.
Correct,
so you could sometimes get some kind of relief in that thought that what is going to happen in court will happen.
I have total trust in our judiciary system. Right? Total trust. But again, 10, 12, 15 years, you have to wait.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem. So that is something. I see they appointed some new I think it was registrar. We need to have more judges. We need to have the court system need to improve. You cannot be waiting so long for cases.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the challenge.
You understand?
That's the challenge.
That it works. The police and the court system works hand in hand.
When Malcolm said that justice denied, no, it was
Muslim boy?
No,
Not Malcolm.
it was Malcolm that said that. Was the other guy?
Whoever, yeah.
Yeah? Who said justice too long delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
Right? That was Martin Luther King who said that.
Yeah.
Right? That is serious.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are taking away years of my life as a free person.
Just over your head?
Even if you're on bail.
Yeah.
As a free person with something that might have been just self-preservation for the police.
Correct, yeah.
And that, to me, is unfortunate.
Correct. You know, I wonder at times, we have, 7,000 police officers. And we have a police officer by the name of Vivian Johnson. And the police knows this, the citizens don't know this. And Vivian...
We counting down the last few seconds on this hour, so we would continue this discussion. And you can call us after the break.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Join us.
Strictly local radio show, blazing the best positive hits out of TT. Hottest radio show.
Welcome. You are now locked in.
Every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m., blazing the very best in Trinbago music and more, sending the heartbeat of the Twin Islands straight to the world.
This service is a massive communication product that aims to provide a new media platform for local TT entrepreneurs.
You're now locked into one of the hottest radio shows. Send us your voice notes or call in live and rep your district. Whether you're in East, West, North, South, or Sweet Tobago, this is your show, your sound, your culture. Hottest radio show. Strictly local, hosted by the one and only DJ Flex 868. Don't miss it. Every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m. Only on the streets 91.9 FM. The vibes, the culture, the sound of Trinbago.
We blaze all the best in TT. Hashtag rep your district.
It's a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make it like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are in our final hour. And you have been listening to our discourse this evening, and certainly you can call us. Sometimes we say that we would try to steer ourselves away from these kind of discussions because it seems to be fluid on a daily basis and it is taking us nowhere. Maybe we should leave some of it for the politicians and the lawmakers and to fix. But it seems not to be happening. We see things happen every day. We're in a perpetual state of emergencies and that kind of thing. And therefore, some would say that we really need to see a plan. Some would say that that they feel comfortable with us having a state of emergency and it is needed. I don't know what you say. The number to call is 342-0081 or 466-5391. Yesterday we spoke about Kirsteimer and his resignation, and one of the things that really resonated in my mind, and I know Ronaldo and I discussed this conclusively yesterday, But one of the things that really, really resonated was the fact that what he said, he stepped down for. He said that the people have spoken. His party would have asked him a question, and he is losing, and what he represents does not really falls in line with the party again, and as such, he thought that it was necessary at that time to hand in his resignation as the Prime Minister of London. He would have spoken to the King, and he would have made a decision to resign. We would have asked the question yesterday of what do you think of the morals of that, because as you know, Britain is not necessarily we would have gotten most of our practice, our system, our constitution was coined after the British system, but Britain don't have a constitution. Britain is really ruled by common law to a large extent. And yet they pay a lot of attention to morals and ethics and that kind of thing, and what they feel is right and what they feel is wrong. And the people don't give you a chance in Britain if you are going down the wrong road.
Yeah.
Is it that we are not mature enough in Trinidad and Tobago to practice that kind of leadership?
I don't think we're mature enough. I don't think I've been mature enough. Now, when the last couple elections I fought, by myself as an independent, I have been trying to encourage persons to vote independent. People keep saying that we are a two-party system. But if you watch the English system, you have independent MPs.
In Parliament, yeah.
And the common persons in the UK, they not taking any nonsense. And as you have said,
if you win a seat.
If you win a seat.
But what about encouraging more people to do what you're doing?
Of course. At least, it's something I've been thinking about lately, because I know we have elections supposed to due maybe next year, and it's something that I have to do some research on and put it out there.
But do you usually lose your deposit or?
No. The first election, the local government, I got back my deposit, and the second election, I got about 500 votes as an independent, which is pretty good compared to some of the parties who send people out. Some of them get 5 votes, no votes, 7 votes.
So you went up against Philip Alexander.
I went up against Philip Alexander, Mr. Stuart Young, and there was an ex-guy from, I think, NTA, one of them.
I know, you beat anybody there? Or
No, I was third. Was Mr. Stuart Young, Mr. Alexander, and then myself. The UNC, I think UNC didn't send someone. I think NTA I beat that person. But it's not about beating the person, it's about starting the process to let people know that you have another option. Because the last 2 elections was, pretty much fought hard, and where the two parties wanted to show their force. So while it might have been, to some people, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, it was about letting the citizens know that we, like the UK, like the European countries, you don't need to vote party. Because at the end of the day, if an independent person wins a seat, when it's time to vote, that vote will count. Right?
Right. But the last election, I believe in the
party system?
The system. I believe in the governance. If I don't vote for somebody, then I feel I would have lose the moral authority in some way to speak.
Right.
And so I thought that I have to vote, and I know I still believe, I still stand by who I voted for. I voted for the UNC.
Okay, yeah.
And I still believe that the UNC is the party to take the country to the next level. I mean, the UNC have done a lot of things since coming into office. A lot of people would disagree with me, but they have done a lot of things, a lot of groundbreaking things since they have come in office. They have 4 years again to do, and I'm seeing the leader coming up beside Bissessa is saying things that and I'm seeing directions, I'm seeing where she seems to want to go. It is just not happening as fast, as quick as people want it to happen. And you have to understand also that she came in with a certain degree of a certain amount of handicap. There was a lot of things that just was not available and still isn't available. I mean, we just don't have the kind of resources. We don't have the kind of productivity in the country. But for some reason, I'm thinking that they are not focusing on the things that they maybe should be focusing on at this time.
Yeah.
And that,
How much
that's a
money?
challenge.
How much money you think this government has spent in the last year? You would see what you got 50, 60, 70 billion dollars?
No, I don't think they've spent that much. Yeah, where they getting that to spend that? Let me take this caller.
okay.
Let me take this caller. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again, gentlemen. Mr. Matteson, you're real hopeful, but I'm willing to bet money. I'm willing to bet money, Mr. Matteson, that is only a genie might be able to grant you that wish that you have, and he might have some difficulty. Because, you see, in all the good that the UNC might have done thus far, we have to take a holistic view, a holistic look at how they do things, how they operate, what is their thought process behind certain things, and then we could make a determination as it relates to if this is really and truly a party that can take this nation forward.
But listen,
out of the
but Chris, you voted for the UNC too, right?
No,
or
actually,
you didn't vote. Or you didn't vote.
I led my support verbally to anybody who could find somewhat other than the PNM to vote for.
But you didn't put your
actually
finger. You didn't put your finger on nobody to vote.
No, I signed up for the special election because I was working and I really didn't go and vote, right? So I didn't vote on this occasion. However,
But what you're complaining about, maybe you could have made a difference if all the people like you who didn't vote. Huh? We have in studio an independent candidate here.
So, Chris, how do you feel about an independent person running in your area rather than a UNC or a PNM?
I have been always calling for that. I wish we could have 41 people who are living in the area that they want to represent or become the MP for, submit themselves and do the groundwork, right? And try to gain the support of these people. But it kind of difficult. So you will need some time. All now, you will need to be campaigning to be able to turn the eyes of people away from the red if it's stuff on the red or the yellow if it's stuff on the yellow. Because we have a group of people in this country who, regardless of what, they refuse to look outside of what they're already inside of, right? And I say I consistently call for independent representatives. I even think that we as a community ought to look for the best candidate and probably put our money where our mouth is, and we put the money for them to go up and we vote for them, because it is only somebody who is living there and genuinely concerned and wants our community to do better will constantly be engaging the residents and trying to put things in place to make the situation better. Whether it is you have to visit the Ministry of Works to tell them about the poor roads, whether you have to visit WASA, whether you have to visit Ministry of Sport, you name it, welfare, national security, to let them come up with something to treat with the crime in the area, that is the task of an MP. But what we have in this country is, or councillor. But what we have in the country is some people come and beg you for your vote when it's close to election, and as soon as they are successful, all of them up under the Prime Minister to see what ministry they will end up in.
Correct. Correct.
Not you considering if they have any history, any knowledge, any expertise to be an asset to the ministry and its runnings. Right? I wish this could become contagious and it could have 41 of yourselves all over the country, and that you could gain some traction enough to get some seats in parliament, because right now we're paying these people and they are not doing anything for the betterment of the country, to be honest,
Correct. Yeah.
As Mr. Martin said, yes, the UNC did some things, and the good things you could count it on your hand. One thing I am in total support of them with is to stop that pension that we would have to be paying Stuart Young based on the gerrymandering that was done by Dr. Rowley.
What's about
Right?
the piece of legislation that was supported by both parties, where a person who had a minor offense, their names are extricated from the records, allowing them to get a proper job and that kind of thing again? What about that?
Mr. Matheson, those things are good gestures, but we have to first let priority be one of the sentiments that we operate by. We have so many other existing low-hanging fruits to treat with before they even think about doing that, right? There needs to be a serious, conscious effort to engage the mind of the population. The police cannot claim no points if murderers choose not to murder today, and that is the reason why the murder rate might go down by 10 or how much ever percent or by how much ever numbers. They are doing nothing. Which murder have they stopped? Who have they engaged and made an impact on their lives so that the person is now making better choices and not so inclined to engage in criminal activity? What the police doing? What they really doing? Boy, we just spinning top in mud. And the thing is, the politicians have the power to drastically change things, but it is clear to us that they choose not to. How long it taken for them to draft up something to make it mandatory that police wear body cameras so that we don't just have to go based on what you all say? It will have actual footage to justify your action if it's right or if it's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about the fact that it have a police officer, a former police officer who is now a minister in charge of that, and who may or may not be working in the direction of that happening?
Well, the thing is, that too is a shortcoming of the Prime Minister, because by now, she ought to have already come to the conclusion that, hey, this portfolio is not for Mr. Alexander, because you not only have to peruse and go through documents, yes, you have staff and whatnot, but the buck ultimately stops with you. And anybody can hoodwink you based on the level of your intelligence. Anybody could come and speak nicely, right? Speak all kind of things in your head, and you just sign the document. You know where you're signing on to? You understand what you read? But we have you stuck as a Minister of National Security. You know, if you didn't burden him with that position, Tunapuna might have been a constituency where it drastically changed around, because he have a way with dealing with people on the ground, right? As a previous police officer, he would have certain connections so you could properly represent your constituency as an MP, but they burden you as an MP. And not only persons on the opposition side are laughing at you, even members of your own colleagues are getting kicks off at you, and like you don't know it. You wasting the time that we paying you to blow in a plastic bag and talk rubbish. Every minute is our next riddle for somebody to find out what ridiculousness you're talking about. If I peel a banana, I can go eat it, and all kind of nonsense. I'm telling you, and these are the people that expect or have a high expectation from the little children that are coming up. How, boy? How? And the thing is, before I go, you see this thing with Mr. Christopher Samaru? We as adults have to understand that we have to keep our composure and not allow ourselves to be drawn out. Because all he needed to do to not have the attention of the police, just add the word politically to the end of his statement. So whether you're feeling or you're thinking about doing whatever, just add the word you want to do that to them politically. So you want to kill the police, just say you want to kill them politically. Right? Because when these politicians make their statement, that is the word that saves them all the time.
But I wouldn't say that on radio.
No, well, what I'm saying is, this is the statement that the politicians make. We will bury you politically. We will do all kind of things to you. But the thing is, when you make that statement that Mr. Samaru make, and you leave it open, the police can interpret it as you want to literally do these things. So the police are well in their right to apprehend you at this time, right, based on your statements on the radio. But if you want to speak and still enjoy freedom, you need to sharpen up on your techniques and understand the English language and how it can work for you and work against you. But I tell you, it has so much shortcomings. I can't tell when last you hear an officer read somebody the Miranda rights.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Some of the officers probably can't even self quote it properly, but they're out here arrested people. That is why some lawyers just drag them up and down the court. You feel it's just so they don't want to show up to court. Some of them naturally duck in court for that purpose.
Correct.
But they don't have no problem inconveniencing the public because they know they have the power to do that without any redress to come. So I don't like you for whatever reason. I could just apprehend you and in charge and keep you there for 48, 72 hours. You understand? Right now it had the PDO and I'm waiting to see with all this talk that Jeremy talk about the 1%, if they will issue a PDO to any 1%, or if the PDO is just limited to a certain category of persons.
But you hear any 1%? You hear any 1% talking?
Only Gary Wood.
With a PDO, you don't need to say anything. The government and the police just need to determine that you might be able or wanting to try something, and they can detain you indefinitely until the end of the story. They don't need any evidence or anything like that for that purpose. But they're just talking for what? Talking to gaslight people, to wile up people who have no intelligence to think for themselves. If all this saying all of that and have all this information, you don't need nothing to go for them. You could go and lock them up right now. Under the PDO. You could lock them up right now without a shred of evidence. And Kamala and them not supposed to call for evidence because she didn't want a shred of evidence as it relates to the strikes on the water. That she encouraging them to kill them violently. And you is a lawyer, boy.
Which still continues.
All the advice that they have been given to people for free on the platform. No lawyer that you're paying will give you that advice, or should give you that advice, I should say, though, because that is not helpful advice in the court. And they know that. They know that stand your ground law, but if the man running away, shoot him. Them saying that cannot help you in the court, because there are certain precedents in the court where you will have to explain a number of things that is the listed course of action that you took. This is why the police need to justify their claim of causation when 19 shots were pumped into a man who had his hands up. The majority of shots should have been in Kaya. If she was the one with the firearm, she put in the firearm, but we have an officer who his target was Joshua Samaru, based on the fact that after you use this high-powered rifle, you draw for your handgun, and you still continue pumping shots into the young man and his direction.
All right, okay.
You had no...
Mr. Bailey, let me take another call, because I know you're a serious advocate for this, and we listen to you all the time. But let me take KFC. Let me hear what KFC had to say. KFC, you're calling a while now, but
Good afternoon, Marcusson.
Good afternoon.
And independent guest day.
Good afternoon.
That last caller there, you want to stay long and vote.
Well, you get opportunity to talk. Go ahead, say what you have to say.
Them don't want to change. You get a chance to go and vote. As a UNC supporter, I go there and vote. The city last regime was oppressive and wicked. But like I make a change and get exchange. Because as a youth, as a man who is already full of politics and things, but I realize how serious politics is because I have 2 little children. So my finger count. So I watching this government and the way how they're moving and the way how they're treating, especially lower class people. You know, I was taken into a program, the Ground Report. You know, the budget was in Tobago yesterday. And Farley calling for more money for URP and CPAP across, he didn't stop it. You know them in the next legislation thing. They wasn't to stop URP and CPAP in this country. The government could put all the money in URP and CPAP. They say that's real corruption and allegedly, because nobody got locked up, nobody got arrested. Move all the big players and them and put in the people and them there and the work continue or raise the money. Right? Look at every morning I go in all day, 5 in the morning. Now that's not time for to go there. Past 4 in the morning. And up to now, me get paid. Me have no money. They all are reaching to work. All they know what eating, all are drinking. So I come like I just walking my guest now. Back to the other side, I that man sit down here and say, boy, because I that man change my life and trying to live a good life, get a little work, and me getting no kind, me getting paid.
KFC.
I have 2 lectures, school looking to go and close.
KFC, say, every time you call you, say sound like you have a hangover, boy. Every time you call you, say
no,
the same thing about...
I not that, you know.
Yeah, but
like I understand, you know, Marcus, because when we talk about the government, I know you support the government. I support the government. I blame all the government because to unjust and wickedness.
No, but this is not.
But I must talk about it. You eat free day.
Yeah, you don't eat.
And your kitchen full.
KFC, this is the right forum. You do what you have to do.
I have go share rent to pay, this to pay. I work it by me getting paid for a fortnight now. So Marcus, it's serious. Who feels it knows it, you know.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I feel it, I must feel it. I God bless.
A lot of people feeling hurt in this country, Matthew.
Yeah, I understand.
A lot of people.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say again. But I like to think critical.
Yeah.
And we on the issue of crime, and you know, a number of things would happen, and I would agree with anybody, including KFC, if they say that what is happening is as a direct result of what is not happening. Right? And as we are on the topic of crime and criminality and the police and that kind of thing, one has to examine what could be done, or what solutions could we probably give the government, or espouse here that the government would probably adopt to arrest the situation and bring not just crime but sort out the problem people like KFC and all these other people having, sort out productivity, sort out money in your pocket for people. Because I remember I was on this it was a paid program at the time, this very program before the elections, with a now a government minister, and we were talking about money in your pocket for people. We were talking about this is what people want, because we were saying that the PNM or the PNM policies to a large extent were good, but they were corrupt to a large extent. And the fact is, the people were feeling it, and we know what the cry was for election. People just didn't want to hear nothing about the PNM again. Right?
But they wanted to work.
Right, but they wanted to work, they wanted to survive. Same thing like what KFC say now. So if we voted against that, then at least we should be seeing something that says that there's a change in that for which we voted against.
Yeah. Because even if you say that people vote you in to change the wrongs, right? So you came in and you lay off your CPAP workers, reforestation workers, so forth. While you say that it may have been, the system was corrupted higher up, right, by ministers and ministers' family. At the end of the day, you have tens of thousands of poor persons in communities like my own, like your own, who do have a job because they have always depended on CPAP, URP. Not everybody could be a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a nurse. You know, and we have tens of thousands of people who were displaced by the government.
Why I think that has happened? You think that has happened because of the government not wanting to do that, or directly because of bad government policies? Not the UNC, but the government that went before.
No. I again, I refuse to talk about the government before we voted them out.
I know, but what I'm saying is...
So we have the government of the day who we voted in, yes, to change policies, but not to make us homeless and hungry. And that's what they have done. They have made a lot of persons homeless and they can't pay their rent. They have no food for themselves and their children. They have no work. Tens of thousands of people, Stephen.
I have a different view on that. I mean, I don't work for anybody.
Right.
I don't work for the government. When I say I don't look for work.
Yeah.
I move on my own steam. Right? I'm a consultant. I am needed by a lot of people.
Thank God for that.
So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it wasn't like that all the time.
Right, yeah.
Right? It took a lot of thinking, a lot of self-promotion, a lot of marketing, a lot of education, educating myself, not in what the woman say P&M education, but paying for my education and educating myself in a certain way, learning, and a lot of sacrifice.
Okay.
Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to think about something where I want to be down the road?
There are many
plan to
persons.
do
There
it?
are many persons like that.
And get there.
But there are many persons who are not like that. Any society,
But you say
any society will have people who live off social welfare. Any society, you have it. You go America, you go England, you go any society, you will always have it. And if you cannot take care of the lowest,
right, the Maslow hierarchy and needs it, you're going
right, then you will always have a problem.
You would be able to move to the next level.
You understand?
Right? Let me tell you something. I remember I was studying, and I used to pull bull.
Yeah.
I used to pull bull.
Yeah.
Because my eye was on the prize.
Yeah.
I do all kind of different things.
Yeah, just to survive.
Right? To survive. And sometimes people had to do that too.
You had a car to pull bull. You had a car. So you were not... So you were lucky. You know what I'm saying? God has blessed you. You know, I've seen you evolve over the years. God has blessed you. But because God has blessed you, it don't mean that we're not taking care of the least fortunate. Madison is bad out here, you know. Madison, you drive around in a nice car, you're living in a nice house, you have a nice office. But you had to deal with the people on the ground.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that fully.
And the government need to realize this. Not about P&M. I never vote P&M, I never vote UNC, but
our problem in Trinidad and Tobago, we have from government, from everybody, we have a thinking problem, but we have a priority problem. And I think as Chris said at the caller before the last caller said that, we have a priority problem. Right? We have to understand that we got into office, by and large, yesterday we were talking about labor and that kind of thing. But the thing is, we have to understand productivity is what will give us income, a country income. If you have good development, good training and that kind of thing, and productivity, you get productivity from it, you'll get higher incomes, you'll earn money, the country will earn money. We have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago with thinking. We have a problem with labor. You have a problem with all those things, and those things, to a large extent, have to be dealt with.
And a brick to go, right? Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those things, to a large extent, we have to get it, we have to deal with it. So the politicians, somehow, our friends and your friend and all of them, we have to think. Right? So, one of the things I talk about here, as usually, is the education system. You heard what the lady would have said with respect to a P&M education.
Correct, yeah.
Right? And that was bad advertising for the P&M.
bad advertising.
That was bad advertising for the P&M.
Bad
advertising. Because if on one hand you say you get a P&M education, you're boasting about a P&M education, and clearly you're not able to think. It tells you it is indicative of that education you get. But that's real with the education system. The education system in Trinidad and Tobago.
That was P&M education.
We have to start to teach people to think.
In August.
If people could think, most of them who will get out of the problems that they're in. Just think it through. Because you see...
But that's from young, eh? That is not...
In a blind man world, you see the man with one eye? He's king. You see the man who can think? He going to run over everybody.
Correct. Yeah.
Because he could think, he could sit down and strategize how he getting from point A to point B. While you beaten up. and you're trying to pull down an next man to get out of the barrel.
Yeah.
He done strategize how he coming out of that already. And that's the problem. We haven't tried to be go. People not thinking.
Correct.
And government not thinking. Politicians not thinking.
But if you watch that video, there were other, I would want to call them, you could see that the other people who came in to help the situation, to explain it. You could see it's not no doctor, no lawyer, you street people.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew the answer up front.
You
understand? They were not well dressed like the woman and talk like the woman, but these were common people who lie on Independence Square.
I remember I was sitting in an interview. I was doing an interview. I was the consultant in an interview seeking to employ a person at the level the person was being employed. He wanted to employ. I wanted to find out how critical this person could think.
Right.
So something just asked me because I heard the question being asked already. I know the answer to it. And the question I asked the person, if I give you a bathtub, I take you to my house, I fill up my bathtub, and I give you a spoon, a saucer, and a teacup, and I tell you, empty the bathtub. How will you how will you empty the bathtub?
I put out the stop coke.
Put out the stop coke. That's thinking.
Yeah.
Because I said, how will you empty the bathtub?
You didn't say you have to use those
things. You know what the person say? That sounds like a trick question, boy. I feel like I'll use the teaspoon.
Yeah.
But that's endemic of how people think and trying to be go.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
We look for the least resistance.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just sad. People need to think strategic. And if you start thinking strategic, you win everybody.
Listen, guys, the normal man can't think.
And you're learning that and you know university.
No. The normal man can't think. You know why the normal man cannot think? Because he's hungry.
Well, nah, don't say that. I disagree with you because here what? If I was going to say the normal old man would think because he don't commit anything to memory, he don't process things. You see all what we're talking about here about Kaya and Joshua and all of that? In the next 3 years, most of Trinidad would have put that somewhere down in the subconscious. And they will forget that, you know. And they doesn't see how one thing is connected to the other. They wouldn't remember the argument, all the argument around that about police and body cam and all that kind of. When the police are thinking body cam again and they shoot somebody again, and they wouldn't be studying that. The police have a vested interest not to invest in body cams.
Well, they will have to at some point in time.
And the politicians should be saying something about that.
Yeah. But you not hear anything about it.
Right? But if you could think, you would know why.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's a saying that if you fail to something about liberty, you lose your liberty if you just look at the simple things without thinking, right? So if all of us, all politicians, everybody trusts is to reduce crime.
Right.
So you will do everything, you'll give up your liberty to be able to do that because that's what they're telling you. But if you think this thing through and you understand where it starts and where it will finish, you will fix those things first and you will see it going down gradually.
Right.
You need to start to fix the education system. You need to start to fix the social security network. You need from birth, you need to have everybody in a system.
Yeah.
You know everybody.
Yeah.
You can only commit crime
because
once.
You're losing children young, eh?
Yeah.
You
can only commit crime once in that kind of system. We are 1.3 million people. Right, brother? We have companies operating in the world with more people as employees than we have citizens in trying to be. You know what they have? You know what they have? They have systems to manage their employees. They have systems to know everything about every employee. They know who on leave. They know why they stay home. They know everything. They know how much leave you're on. They know everything. They have HRS system. We know not. We operate by guess.
We do not know.
We have no data. We don't operate with data.
We do not know how many guns are in the police station.
And even if we know, we don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Because it is not used, it is not integrated, it is not used for any systematic way to solve any problems.
Yeah.
So we just talk, we just waste money. They talk about billions of dollars in budget, but what it is?
And I asked you the question earlier. This government, over the last year, a year and something, have spent, Madison, our budget is $50-60 billion every year.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, it have no money, you go down and spend $60 billion still. Because it's the same salaries that are paid, the same programs that you're going on with.
Well, you're talking about revenue. So where you get revenue? You get revenue from
Right.
taxes and
I talk about what we're spending. So we could be owing.
and
spending
then part,
$60 billion.
and then part of it might be borrowing. And,
Right,
and
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Right? So, if the previous government spent $60 billion and you spend $60 billion, why you're spending the same money? Why you're not fixing the problem? Because you expected the previous government to spend that money, which they did, and you expect them to fix the problem. Now you come in, you're spending the same money, maybe more, and the problem's still not being fixed. You know? And according to you, some simple things, body cameras, you know?
Training.
Audits, training. Because if you do not audit what is in wherever, people could abuse it. That is why you have officers thieving drugs, thieving guns, selling it out there. You know, up to now they can't tell you how much guns was in San Fernando. And if that station, they don't know.
But
I tell you, all the stations, they don't know.
You know, the commissioner of police made a distinction between municipal police and the TTPS.
Hello. He in charge of all. He in charge of all. What is his name?
No, he's not in charge of all, but he in charge to some extent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that was such a dumb.
No, he tried to pull himself out. You know.
Distinction. But again, people say things. People in high office say things sometimes, and they're not held accountable for it.
They're not held accountable at all. And this is why I say that if you know, Starmer know. Starmer know he resign.
This is why I'm saying that the ethics and the moral imperative that they adhere to in those places is not the same as us.
No. Is that sad case?
Right? So you went and you studied to be an engineer, but you don't understand certain things. Yeah, as a aeronautic engineer or a pilot or whatever, and you kill people, right? And you're not held accountable.
Yeah.
You're not held accountable.
In Trinidad?
In Trinidad.
Oh, in Trinidad, yeah. Because
right?
out there.
But outside there, people know that you have to have the best. You have to do the thing right. Otherwise, you will be held accountable.
Yeah.
So Starman, they know that.
Yeah. I remember I was in London, must have been about 3 years ago, and within that 3 years must be about 3 or 4 prime ministers change within 6 months.
Yeah.
You know? Because at the end of the day, you have to be accountable. You know, and you have to know when, hey, I can't do this job. You know?
And we're not saying this in any way to say that the politicians here can't do the job, you know. But they are held to a different standard.
Yeah. You know?
And that to me is unfortunate.
You know, when state of emergency started, and they said that there were threats on lives, and then next minute they see the same people who were threatened in cricket, in party, having a ball, and we in a state of emergency. You know, so how can you trust? You know, how can you trust them?
No, well, if you say that you're threatened and you're in party and you're having a ball, then kudos to the security apparatus. You must be feeling safe.
I suppose so.
You must be feeling safe that. So kudos to them. But what I'm saying is, all the people who are not feeling safe, what do you say to them?
Yeah.
And who proven that they're not safe?
Because people saying why it is that you have all of these rad police behind 100-pound young lady when crime is all over the country. Why you send all these police down Faizabad? And from what I hear, they were searching maxis going down, you know. Like they were looking for this girl Maxi, you know. And when they found the Maxi, that gave all their names and the names to the police.
The people who was going down to Faizabad?
The same girl, whoever she went down there, like they stopped them. You know, I heard David Abdullah talking about it. You know, so
But
they
the union,
were actually...
the unions, and yesterday we spoke about that. The unions to a large extent has failed Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course.
Failed Trinidad and Tobago. Right? You know, you're talking after the fact.
Yeah.
When you, I mean...
No, Anisette spoke to the police before it happened. And he said, she's with me. There was one person stood up for her was Anisette. SWWTU. Right? Who's one of the major unions in this country. And he told the police she is with us. And so when you look at all the videos, why did the police arrest her? You know? But according to her, in court, she'll have a day in court.
Yeah, they will have the day in court.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, people have to start to sue.
But you can't sue until the court's finished.
No, after.
Yeah.
Right? And as I say, I understand the court system. I'm in the court system. I understand the court system. And to a large extent, there's a certain degree of equity that applies in the system still.
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever law and that kind of thing, I mean, people, there are mischief to what people do sometimes, and the court understands that sometimes.
Yeah. You know, it's something I was thinking about, We have seen the police killings and the police brutality that has taken over the country over the years. Now, if Vivian Johnson is a police officer, and I, as the Commissioner of Police, know that over Vivian Johnson last 10, 15 years as a police officer, I shot 32 civilians, 10 civilians, 15 civilians. What is the process in our service to deal with that? Do we let Vivian Johnson, I mean, some of them might be judicial killings, some might be extrajudicial killings. All might be extrajudicial killings. What do we have in Trinidad to protect the citizens from Vivian Johnson, who the citizens don't know? They just know that Vivian Johnson killed less man so, and then a next area might say Vivian Johnson come and kill 2 man so, but the COP will know that this person is an officer and he likes to use his weapon. What do we have to protect us from that in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, some would say, keep your children home, let them do the right thing, let them go to school, let them look a certain way and not look a certain way. And some people will say that.
Yeah, but so the reason I'm asking that question, Joshua Samaru, have any of these officers killed before? Do we know? Do they know? Maybe they know, maybe they don't. But it's a serious question, you know, because you can't have somebody out there who killed 15 people already, or 10 people already, you know, citizens, you know. And you as a police cover that up, you know, because you have is a death squad you technically have.
Well, someone said there are people in Parliament who are members of that squad.
Of course, but that's what they say. That's what they say. You know, but they reach where they reach. You know, but I
wonder what it's like to kill somebody, boy.
I didn't want to know.
To unalive somebody.
Madison,
I mean, we laughing is a serious
thing. I'm very...
Caller. Let me take this caller.
Madison, I'm calling to one of the callers. Don't go down that road. But apart from searching the maxis, I see they also had a gentleman taking off his jersey. I don't know what gave the officers that
authority
power. Yeah, because it wasn't no camouflage garment. It wasn't nothing to make him resemble a member of the law enforcement. But nonetheless, something Vivian said, and I want to ask the nation and the police service that question. Seeing that police officers, when they respond and take the lives of persons, whether they're right or wrong, right? They just get so easily fearful for their life to take a certain course of action. What is left for the persons out here who don't even have a butter knife to defend themselves if they do actually have to take the life of somebody when they're responding to some threat or something? Because when I look at what exists in this country today, is as if it is okay for the police to become fearful and respond right, and take life. But for you to respond in like manner, even though you don't have all this ammunition that they are carrying, but you are demonized. In most cases, you are demonized for that. And I hope the police understand the precedent that they are setting with all the excuses that they keep drawing for, right? When we see footage, they're claiming that we only see that portion of the footage and we didn't see what happened before, but you all have numerous footage that you all air on beyond the tape. What about the moments before that you all were not able to capture? Can other people have that same defense as the police has? You didn't see what happened before?
Correct.
And I know that you know for a fact that what took place before have no bearings on how they responded at the time when they engaged that vehicle that is in question right now in the nation. They know that fully well. They know that. But as I say, one thing that they know as well is that we have a lot of people who refuse to use their brain and think for themselves. So they will have a lot of people who will support the police because their government is in power and they believe any type of criticism, right? They have to try to protect the image of the government. And as I outlined, this has nothing to do with the government. The only power or responsibility the government has is if they see something, they could call for foreign investigators. They could say, okay, now is the time to give the police complaints authority the responsibility and all that they need to treat with these matters where you won't have police investigating police. They would need to rid the forensic center of every personnel that is entrenched or entwined with the police and get professionals, experts. But they will twiddle their thumbs because it is not their family members at this time. But I myself, what I wanted to know was what constituency Joshua and Kaya is for, and who is the MP for that constituency, right? Because I feel MP just forget that you are supposed to be representing these people. So when you see that video, you are not supposed to be concerned about how police officers carry about themselves in your constituency and ensure that they don't come there to trample on the rights of people, to use and abuse power in the manner in what we saw, because you can't be asking people to come out and help you, but this is what they will be met with. As I say, based on the fact that Joshua, both hands were out the window, I don't know what training they're receiving that they will murder a victim, right, in order to try to get to who they claim is the suspect or the perpetrator and allow the perpetrator to leave the country. And then come to Mamagai, people with arrest 2 o'clock in the morning in Piaco Airport. She didn't want to come back. She come back on her own free will. You think this place easy? Anyhow, I love to.
And you know the next thing, I will tell you something,
Okay, caller.
We have about 15 or 16 officers, police officers from constable right up, who are based at forensics. Like some years ago, they were trained in forensics. These officers were trained in police officers were trained in forensics, and there was a big backlog at Forensic Sciences Center some years ago, and they went there for a year to clear it up, and they're still there. So we're talking about over a dozen officers at forensics, where the same place where Joshua, ballistics, everything else would have been done at forensics. And it took 4 months to come back to say that Kaya is guilty.
But
so there's a conflict of interest also.
But not only that, but what you saying, if that is how that works and that is how that is what exists, that too is something to question.
Yeah.
Police officers. So himself can be himself. If the police officer dealing with forensic, the police officer who given the report for to develop prima facie evidence for the person to be charged, everything, then what does the DPP say about that? What does the DPP have?
You understand? And this is something that was mentioned on the protests at, I think, at the DPP, or I think it was at the Commissioner of Police, or the DPP, one of them. There are officers stationed at forensics for years now. You know, so
But what role do they play in the analysis of?
I don't know.
Forensic analysis
but
of, you know.
that is what when they to clear the backlog. So some may be trained in ballistics, some may be trained in whatever, and they went it. But the fact that you are there in between years means they make friends, they have girlfriends, they have boyfriends, anything can be done. You know, so these little things we have to study, and this is one of the reasons why we are saying.
I see this as pure preservation.
Yeah, correct.
That is what I see this as. I mean, they seem to be willing to go to any length to preserve the integrity or to preserve the image of the police service, right? But that out there already.
Yeah.
So
but the commissioner said that he will protect his officers, and it seems like no matter what, he will protect them. He said so.
Yeah, and that to me is right and wrong is wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, we always make the case here for proper training, proper onboarding, proper recruiting, proper compensation also, because all of that, it goes with compensation, proper management of performance, right? And proper data, capturing data and putting things into place. So you have good management, proper management of human resources.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And if you're not doing that, then you will get what you have right now. Right? You will get what you have right now. And unfortunately, what we have right now is chaos. And lack of confidence by the people, the very clients that you depend on to pay. They don't have no confidence in you.
Yeah. They say the COP rating is what, 5%?
Yeah. Caller, you're joining us back. Hello? Caller. Oh, yeah. So the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be about the people.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be about the people. Caller. Caller, good evening. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. It's supposed to be about the people.
Yeah.
And if it cannot be about the people, then it cannot be said that it is fair and just and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why so many people having problems with what's going on. But I could understand why people don't really want to put themselves out there, because plenty of the callers who talking here, I ain't seen them on no protests.
No.
They're talking plenty.
Talking plenty.
Yeah.
A lot of people have fear.
I on radio.
Yeah.
Good evening, caller. I don't understand. Caller, good evening. I still seeing connecting.
There's something there? Oh, okay.
No, it's not nothing here. How would I know? Yeah. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it goes back to what we've always said about the priests.
Yeah.
Bad things happen when good people do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah? Caller, good evening. Hello? On that is... Yeah. Bad things happen when good people do nothing. Check your phone, boy. Yeah, bad things happen when good people do nothing.
Even the regiment. You know, every year you're taking some youths, you train them like what they do outside. Trouble youths. You know, give them some sense of some kind of belonging.
I'll give you one more opportunity. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, that's what on the next internet. I know what's going on. But Vivian, you were saying Commissioner say he will protect his officers. But I feel since they not too interested in the body cam, they could probably invest in some kinds of bop. So the next time...
Some what?
Some kinds of what?
Some kinds of bop.
Bop.
Okay.
Yeah, some kind of flip. So the next time they have to book them with and get that amount of drugs, they will be armed to the teeth. Not just with firepower, but with... You can kill some mosquitoes and still hold around and wait to see if anybody will come for the drugs that you rather help them find.
Correct,
You know?
correct. In the swamp, they carry in the swamp. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Governor, if you're listening, I ain't think the buck will cost as much as the body camera. So when you get a chance, you could check Pennywise. I know reading him sobers. I know sobers and them like Pennywise bad. So you could check Pennywise and see if you get a good deal. seven cards are Bob.
Bob kills them
So
dead.
Right, this place is a movie, yes.
Yeah, real movie.
I mean, it is what it is. But this evening we had a great show. Viviane must join us sometime. Join us a little more regular, man. I mean, there are a lot of things
That we could discuss.
that happens in society every day in Trinidad and Tobago that we could discuss. I really wanted to go on the geopolitical realm today because we see what's happening in with the US and Iran.
Yeah.
And
Lebanon.
there seems to be some uncertainty because Israel is still
Attacking
targeting Gaza and killing children and that kind of thing, and the UN is also calling that genocide, which it is. Netanyahu seems to be has an agenda, and the world is beginning to see. Most of the world who was not seeing it before is beginning to see it now, but clearly nobody's doing anything about it. We talk about belling the cat on this program, and clearly no one is willing to bell the cat in terms of putting Netanyahu where he should be.
Yeah. But I see some of the European countries have him on a no-fly list. Yeah.
Some of them,
but they're not going fit.
But Trump talking, but he ain't doing nothing.
No.
He just talking.
Trump is not going to do anything.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show this evening. We certainly will have another edition of the show tomorrow. So we take you off.
You've got bills to pay.